Good afternoon. It's me, Amiibo Doctor. Pokemon Trainer is by far the weirdest amiibo in Smash Ultimate. There's really no argument, and if there is, I don't want to hear it. It's so bizarre. Let me give you an example. This is Pokemon Trainer. This is also Pokemon Trainer. This is also Pokemon Trainer. And of course, this is the Pokemon Trainer amiibo. At least they would be, if I actually had them. The funny thing about Pokemon Trainer is that he is actually a brain transplant amiibo. For those of you that aren't familiar with what I'm talking about, let me explain. So I demonstrated a brain transplant in the video that will have an end card linked above, but basically what a brain transplant is it takes it uses a hardware glitch of amiibo chips. It takes all of the data that an amiibo has, except for the character, and it puts it into an amiibo of a different character. This is how you can get your Mario to play like your Bowser, at least in terms of move usage, names, spirits, etc. Or alternatively, you can take a bin file off your phone and put it onto an in tag using a brain transplant. The problem is, Pokemon Trainer is functionally a brain transplant, and when you try to brain transplant, he responds in a lot of really different ways. So, for starters, this is Agent 006. This is the Pokemon Trainer that I won the tournament with, and I have almost never won any other tournaments, so it's very important to me. Agent 006, if I were to transplant this Charizard into this Squirtle, do you know what would change? Well, they'd still be Pokemon Trainer, right? Kinda. Actually, the only thing that would change is that instead of starting the match as Charizard, it starts as Squirtle. That's the only functional difference between Charizard, Ivysaur, and Squirtle, which is really... that makes sense, but then why have all three amiibo? I don't know. But then what about the Pokemon Trainer amiibo itself? The figure of the kid? If you transplant onto that one, what does that come out to be? I'll spare you the suspense. It just comes out to be the original character of the one you started with, but only for one match. Let me explain. So if I take Charizard, so Pokemon Trainer is different. Let me backtrack. Pokemon Trainer is different in that you can change which one he starts with at the menu screen. So if you send him to a tournament, he'll function basically as Squirtle because the TO is not going to change him every single time. But if you're using him at home and you want him to start Ivysaur this match, you can switch through the three Pokemon and have him start as Ivysaur. Okay, fair enough. If you transplant him from a Charizard into a Pokemon Trainer, on the next match, he'll start as Charizard. But then after that one, he's back to Squirtle. Why? That's so weird. Like, that's just bizarre. Why is that the case? Frankly, I don't know. I really wish I could tell you. But I got nothing for you. But that's actually not the only weird interaction that Pokemon Trainer and the Pokemon 3 have with brain transplants. That's just out of the game. What happens if they have brain transplants in the game? Actually, they functionally do have transplants. All the time. Several times a match. Here's the thing. When you scan in Charizard, it's not a Pokemon Trainer that can only use Charizard. Ivysaur and Squirtle still read off of the same amiibo data. This plays out kind of weird. If you teach your Squirtle to use back air off stage, so will Ivysaur, and so will Charizard. If you teach one to use up smash, so do the other two. They're reading off the same data, which means, in effect, it's a brain transplant. Now, they're three different characters, and each of the three different characters has a different way of making use of the amiibo AI. For example, Charizard has down air spike built into his AI. He just does. He can't not use it off stage, and you can only limit the likelihood that he'll do it, but he'll still do it, give it enough time, and keep doing that over and over as time goes on, okay? So Charizard has his own AI, but he's still reading off the same base data as Squirtle and as Ivysaur. Same thing with Ivysaur. You can test this for yourself, by the way. Take one of these, one of the 4 Pokemon Trainer amiibo. Teach one of them to use up smash. Just up smash, okay? See if the other two do. And they will. Believe me, they will. It's very, very odd that Nintendo went that way because there's plenty of open space on the Amiibo bin file. They just don't use it. So then, how do you make this work in the scene? You have a lightweight, a medium weight, and a heavyweight. And on their own, Squirtle would be F tier down there with Bayonetta and Sheik. Ivysaur would be B tier. Charizard would be A plus or S tier. I mean, Charizard is probably one of the best Amiibo in the game on his own, and he was really good in Smash 4. He's a heavyweight, he's got great KO power, etc. But now they're all three together. So if you're going to train an optimal Pokemon trainer, what are you going to do? You have to take 3 movesets into play. I mean, you can't not have 2 of them. Well, you could teach it to never switch unless it dies. Except that doesn't work. You know why that doesn't work? Because you can't teach it to switch more or switch less. The switch value, because it has a down special value, right, built into the AI, is set in stone. At least according to my sources, it's set in stone at 40 out of 255 probability all the time. Take into account the fact that A, it switches every time it dies, and B, whenever it takes enough damage, it'll switch, or if it's off stage far enough as Ivysaur, it'll switch to Charizard, use the extra jump, and recover. Okay? Pokemon Trainer loves to switch. In fact, it spends a lot of time switching, which is really not good, leaves it vulnerable. So if you're going to train an optimal, viable Pokemon Trainer, what are you going to do about taking all 3 movesets into account, since you have no other option? Unfortunately, on this, I can't give you that much advice. I can give you a little bit, because there's one move that's actually really, really good for all 3 of them. Or at least, really good for 2, and not awful for the 3rd. That move is Side Special. For Squirtle, that keeps him invincible, and Squirtle's biggest problem is dying. Keeps him invincible, does a lot of damage, has potential to KO at very high percents, and it's pretty much unstoppable. Command grabs, I'm pretty sure can get it, but otherwise, when he's in his shell and he goes long distances in his shell, kid's fine. He's not going to die. Squirtle's usually when Pokemon Trainer dies. So minimizing the amount of time Squirtle can die, good choice. Ivysaur has, Leaf Whip. It looks like the boomerang, but it never comes back. It's like the worst girlfriend ever. It's that. Does decent damage. It's a good long-reaching projectile. That's the one that's really not that good. Fair enough. But the 3rd one, Charizard. Oh man, Flare Blitz. Okay, it does 12% to Charizard, but it does like 30 to the opponent if and when it connects. Like, it's great. You can use it as recovery move. He can use it to KO. He only has to hit with it like 3 times to take a stock. It's nuts. Flare Blitz and whatever Squirtle shell moves, great side specials. Leaf Whip exists. Teach him side special. When you're done with that, you might consider forward air off stage. The reason I say that is because it's not that great for Squirtle. Forward air for Squirtle, it's kind of like Sheik's forward air. The reason it has forward air is to follow it up with another forward air. But for Ivysaur, it's a decent KO move at the Blast Zone. And for Charizard, it's a great KO move anywhere on the freaking planet. So, side special, yes, do it! Forward air, yeah, okay. That's doable, man. That's doable. Charizard will still down air spike even if you have him forward air. It's built in, especially if they're below the ledge. He just loves it. He loves it a little bit too much. So you're not going to be interrupting that. And Ivysaur really has no better options. And Squirtle has no options at all. So, hey, forward air. That's what you do. Anyway, Pokemon Trainer is absolutely the weirdest amiibo in the scene. Not only is he totally impervious to brain transplants, in the real world, he's very, very, very pervious to brain transplants in the game. He is a brain transplant. So bear that in mind when you're training your Pokemon Trainer amiibo. And thank you so much for watching. Amiibo Doctor out.